Hey, everybody, this is Bruce Bishop for ChronicleT.com. We're back once again with Tim Alcorn and Matt Douglas from AM 930 WEOL. Well, guys, it's the last show for the year.
That's sad. Tear in our eye.
They don't look as sad as I feel.
You can see how weepy we are over this. It's been a lot of fun, and of course, it's always fun to get together with Matt Douglas. So we're going to do this throughout the high school basketball season. So you haven't seen the last of Matt and I. Of course, Bruce Bishop behind the camera. So, yes, while the football season winds down and the weekly video blitz comes to a conclusion, you haven't seen the last of us, folks. But, yeah, it's been fun all year long.
It really has. Been some great games going on this year. I know our Orthopedic Associate Plays of the Week have been a lot of fun looking through the papers, kind of reading some of the stories to see what was there. And, of course, the games we were at thinking, oh, that's definitely going to be a Play of the Week this year. So I had a blast doing this. It was a whole lot of fun.
All right, well, we're down to one. Let's talk about what happened this weekend.
Well, we went into this previous weekend with 4 Lorain County teams that were still alive: Avon, Avon Lake, Elyria Catholic, and Clearview. And of those 4, only one emerged, and that being the Avon Eagles. They will be in a regional championship game this Friday night. They'll be taking on Toledo Central Catholic after an incredible win last Friday night down at Clyde when they knocked off White House Anthony Wayne. Avon down by 2 touchdowns in the second half. They rally to score 3 touchdowns, take the lead, and then on the last play of the game, they knock down a pass in the end zone to win the ball game. Incredible finish for Avon, so they win it 35-28. Unfortunately, Matt, the other 3 went down to defeat.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a real great showing there for Avon Lakes. They took on Toledo Central Catholic, who's just a bear of a team. Offensively, defensively, that team is stacked. They came out big winners in that game against Avon Lake, but still an impressive go for Avon Lake in that game and through the entire season. And then Buckeye fell just a little bit short on Friday night, too, against Kenston. Again, 2 of the top teams in their brackets, so it wasn't an easy task for either one of those teams going out, Tim. I had the opportunity to call the Clearview Clippers game on Saturday night. The final score ended up being 26-8, but trust me, that was a much closer game than that seemed. In fact, it was just a 5-point ball game until about 5 minutes left when Chlorofork was able to get things going and ran in a couple of touchdowns to secure the victory there. And then Elyria Catholic, you and I were talking about before we started this thing, tough loss for them. They lose by 1.
Oh, wow. That's a real heartbreaker for Elyria Catholic. Again, they got such a huge ball game once again from Leighton Banjoff, as well as their quarterback, Cam English, to come up 1 point shy in a regional semifinal against the top-ranked team in that region and unbeaten Genoa. That's one that'll sting. It'll really hurt those Elyria Catholic kids, but it does not take away from the phenomenal season that they had. And, of course, they'll use that hurt. Sure. They'll use that anger, per se, to kind of motivate them throughout the offseason. They took a huge stride forward this year. Brian Fox, the head coach over at Elyria Catholic, did a phenomenal job in his first year as the head coach of the Panthers. And that one's going to hurt for a while, but let's hope it kind of motivates them through the offseason.
Without a doubt. And you hear players talk about unfinished business, and that's certainly something ECL think about going into next year. But for the seniors who move on from the program, I mean, they still have a lot to hold their heads high about. And it does make you go back and think, had we won it, how far could we have gone? But that's a good way to go out. I mean, I think, at least personally, it's much better than thinking, well, that was really the end of the tracks for us, my opinion.
Well, and they were playing Friday night, so that says something.
Sure. Well,
Saturday night.
Technically, but yes, but
we get the point.
But we get the point. They were playing in a Week 12, and a lot of teams were sitting, perhaps listening on WEOL going, man, I wish we were playing in Week 12. Absolutely. That's a good point.
Right on. Okay, so last show, might as well get you with a quick ambush question. Orthopedic Associates Play of the Week. We're not going to do a Play of the Week.
Well, we are. We'll do a Play of the Week.
We're going to do that too?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what Orthopedic Associates is paying for.
You guys planned for this one. Here's my ambush question anyway.
Okay, so before the Play of the Week, we've got our ambush question.
Yeah, we're going to do a Team of the Year.
All right.
Wow, Team of the Year.
That's good.
That's a good one. Well, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago there were 7 Lorain County teams with winning records. Keystone finished up right at 500, 5-5, and there were 8 teams that finished below 500. So, Team of the Year. I'm going to go with the team I just talked about. I'm going to go with the Elyria Catholic. That's going to be my team of the year, and this is right on the spot here. So they were coming off a very disappointing season last year, made a coaching change. I alluded to Brian Fox. They brought him in, and boy, he really turned things around. They got off to a great start. Then they lost 2 straight ball games. Boy, they found their footing, and they roared down the stretch. Got that huge win against the Bay Rockets. You had that fantastic video of Jared France making that game-winning touchdown catch in the end zone. Got into the playoffs. Unbelievable win against Anna in the first round. And then we just alluded to the fact, even though they dropped that heartbreaker to Genoa in the second round, they'll use that to motivate them. So to Bruce's ambush question, I'm going to go with EC, Elyria Catholic, as my team of the year.
I like that choice. I mean, as you mentioned, especially those victories. Look, they beat a good Rocky River team at the end of the season, too, who upset Clyde in the opening round of the postseason. For me, look, I mean, you can always point to the Avon Lakes, to the Avons out there. Expectations were high for them this season. They met them. For me, I like the underdog stories, and to me, that was Keystone this season. The Keystone Wildcats entered the season 0-3. They did come away with a win in week number 4, I think it was. And then that Black River game, things certainly changed, and people, I think, started paying a little more attention to them as they came from behind, down 3 touchdowns, I believe it was, to knock off Black River. Then everyone sort of knew Jacob Shackelford, their quarterback, was. Dylan Naylor, their running back, was. And they had some good wins, including one to end the season against Firelands, where they needed a big defensive stand. They were a fun team to kind of keep an eye on there. They made a battle for the Stars division over in the Patriot Athletic Conference. Ended up coming up short against Buckeye in the final week, but faced a lot of adversity that week as well. So to me, Keystone was one of those fun stories this season, and for that, I'll name them my team of the year.
That's a good choice. That Black River game, that's a program changer. When you're down 3 touchdowns plus, I think it was like 26 points at the half at Black River, they're going to use that game to build that program.
A lot of youth on that team too. So
Bishop. Ambushing us. Us.
And hey, actually, since you're talking about program changes, I guess now would be a good time to touch on a change for Elyria.
There was. Elyria has elected not to bring back Sean Arno, their head coach. They're going to go in a different direction. For Elyria, it's been a tough couple of years. 1-19 in their last 2 years. I know you and I had a chance to talk to Coach Arno between the two of us every week on our football forecast show, and he mentioned, boy, they were playing a lot of young kids, trying to put the building blocks in place. So sometimes when you play all those young kids, especially in a rugged conference, and Elyria's in a very tough conference, you're going to take their lumps, and they did. So they elect to go in a new direction, but I would think the building blocks are in place. So we shall see, and we'll see who the administrators decide to bring in. But, boy, you've got a lot of young kids with experience. You've got a sparkling new facility. So hopefully, better fortunes are right around the corner for Elyria.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think they certainly will be. And again, the building blocks were set in place there by Sean Arno. And you mentioned that new facility. Pretty soon we're going to start seeing wins up on that scoreboard, I think, for the Pioneers.
But, again, that conference, when you talk about the likes of Menor, Solon, Euclid, I mean, right on down the line. It's a tough league. But, boy, you'd like to see Elyria get back to where they've been before. It could be and should be a winning football program. So we wish them the best of luck in their search for a new head coach.
Okay. All right. Well, since I tried to give away the orthopedic spot already, or just contact our billing department. We'll work it out. Don't worry. Here we go. Orthopedic Associates Plays of the Week.
Well, there were some big ones in postseason play. I'm going to let you go first.
All right. I'll start with the game I had. The Clearview Clippers taking on the Clear Fork Colts. It was fun doing that all night long on Saturday night.
You had Clearview, Clear Fork, Colts, and Clippers.
Yeah, it didn't get much easy. At least those were the only rhyming names or names that shared those similar intros. But, it was a tight game. Again, I mentioned the final score ended up being 26-8 in favor of Clear Fork. They had a tremendous running game, tremendous passing game, and Clearview really kept them in tight throughout a lot of that game. Julian Colbert had a tremendous game. He ended up with their touchdown. The Clippers' only touchdown of the game. He was in the backfield, it seemed like, all night, rucking things up for the quarterbacks at Clear Fork. But for me, it really came down to the fourth quarter. The Clippers needed something to kind of get that momentum back. Their offense had been stifled, it seemed, throughout the night by the Colts, and they forced them in a punt in their own territory. The punter's back was to his goalpost. Gabe Blauser went back to try and kick that ball, and in came Julian Colbert to block the punt. It forced the ball out of the end zone, and a safety was called. So he pulled the Clippers to within 5 with about 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Now, it didn't end up going their way, but when you're looking for momentum, I mean, there's no bigger play than something like that. He got in. He was able to ruck that up. So Julian Colbert's punt block there. Plus, it was a punt block. I mean, those are just awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so
the old double thump.
Exactly.
When you hear the kick and the block, the double thump.
And then you see it trickle out the back of the end zone. You're like, hey, 2 points for the Clippers. So Julian Colbert's punt block there was my Orthopedic Associates play of the week.
That's very cool. Well, I'm going to go with a game that I did on WEOL, the incredible game that we had on Friday night over at Clyde High School. Avon taking on previously unbeaten White House Anthony Wayne. Kind of gave you the scenario earlier. Avon down by 2 touchdowns in the second half, and then Nick Perusic gets knocked out of the ball game, their outstanding running back. And you're thinking, boy, Avon, they're on the ropes here. They're teetering. And yet Mike Elder, the head coach of the Eagles, he talks about resilience all the time, and that team showed incredible resiliency. Got a phenomenal performance from their quarterback, Ryan Malloy. He basically picked up the running slack along with Mr. Steinmetz, Mark Steinmetz. So that's what I'm going to go with as far as my Orthopedic Associates play of the week. Avon comes back. They tie the game at 28. Now they get the ball back with an opportunity to win the ball game. They're at their own 49-yard line. They give the ball to Steinmetz, and look out. He goes thundering down the field, a 51-yard touchdown run. Just over a minute to go in the ball game. Steinmetz, man, he was just like a runaway train. It was a great run. Place goes crazy. Steinmetz with the 51-yard touchdown run to win it for Avon, even though they had to get the play at the end, knock a ball down in the end zone to clinch that victory. But I'll go with Steinmetz and the 51-yard touchdown run for Avon to win the game and put them in the regional championship this Friday against Toledo Central Catholic. So Malloy, Steinmetz, they picked up the slack for Perusic. Both did a great job, but man, I'll remember forever Steinmetz just roaring down the field and that 51-yarder.
I like that thundering down the field. It's almost like you taught this. It's like you've done this before. All right,
running downhill, as they say.
Let's talk about where you're going to be this week.
We're down to 1. So basically, we got 1 game to do on AM 930 WEOL. Back to Clyde we go. Maybe that's a good luck charm for Avon because that's where they beat Anthony Wayne last Friday. So we're going back to Clyde. Friday night, Avon taking on Toledo Central Catholic. They're a great football team. They're the number 1 team in the region, state ranked. But you know what? It's not 3 out of 5. It's not 4 out of 7. Got to find a way to beat them once. So we'll see if Avon can do it Friday night, and that's going to do it for our coverage.
Yeah, it's a great point. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that game as well, and it's been a lot of fun being here doing this.
Okay, guys. Well, we're really close to wrapping it up, so let's go ahead and just one last thank you to our sponsors.
Well,
been
again,
great all year.
Yeah, they have been phenomenal. As you mentioned, the Orthopedic Associates Plays of the Week. They've been so much fun. We've loved doing that because it kind of gives us a chance to look back through those box scores, as Matt Douglas said. And, of course, Lorain County Community College. A huge thank you to them. We've kind of given people a tour of the college this year.
It's been a lot of fun. Look, I mean, they've got so many great things going on there, from the bookstore to outside on campus. I mean, the beautiful fountain you saw behind us not too long ago, the gymnasium. It really is a great place and a tremendous asset to the community.
Oh, it just is a phenomenal institution here in Lorain County, and we are so fortunate to have Lorain County Community College. So, again, to everybody over at LCC, a huge thank you for sponsoring this each and every week.
Okay, well, for the football show, we'll be back in a couple weeks with other sports, and things are just going to keep right on moving. We're never really done. Tim Alcorn, take us home.
All right, so that is going to do it. Finally, for the football season and the video blitz, Bruce Bishop behind the camera. Great big thank you to you all season long. Matt Douglas, it's been a blast. Again, Orthopedic Associates and LCC, we thank you for your sponsorship. Biggest thanks goes to you each and every week for watching it. For all of the gang, Tim Alcorn saying, so long, everybody.